Hey guys, it's Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing today. So, today is going to be more of a chatting type stream. We are going to finish up our paperclip that we, our paperclip that we started on Monday. I'm going to start by unbending this, and then we're going to continue to draw this down. Probably around this area right here, so that we can bring this top area down and complete our paperclip. But I don't know that that's going to take the entire amount of time, so I think that we're also going to do a lot of chatting in between. So I am looking forward to any questions or anything that you guys have for me, and we can talk a bit while we are streaming. I am just about ready to, got a couple things I gotta do that I totally forgot to do while I was on my intro stream, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it all works. Okay. Good evening, Dark. How are you today? All right. And let me get on OBS so I am not completely and totally off the wall, not knowing what's happening in my stream. The stream monitor system that Twitch has, starting up is kind of, it has a 6-second delay, so I can't tell what's going on with my stream. So I have to have OBS up so that I can see both. I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm actually doing pretty well. It's a little on the colder side today. It was actually snowing earlier. So it's been a little bit on the warmer spring-like side recently. And then for whatever reason today, it's been quite a bit cooler. Did I let my dog in? Ugh, I will be right back, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna turn my intro on real fast again. Sorry about this. And I will... So sorry about that false start. Yeah, I forgot. She was barking earlier, and I had meant to let her in, but it slipped my mind for whatever reason, because she stopped barking and she went and laid down in the middle of the yard again. She has this weird tendency to do that. So I'm glad I remembered, because I think a couple days ago I forgot to let her in, and she was out there the entire time I was streaming, but it was 70 degrees and it was really nice for her, so it didn't hurt her or anything. But it's, like I said, it's a little on the cooler side today. So I would much rather, have her in the house and comfortable while I'm streaming today. So welcome in, everyone. Let's see. Ooh. I have completed the video for the spoon that we did for our silverware stream. I now have the completed fork, knife, and spoon. They are up to a polish that I've got enough time to do. Unfortunately, they're not quite as polished as I'd like them to be. I just don't really have a lot of time anymore. I need to, because I have like deadlines that I've set for myself for my YouTube videos, and I'm really slow at editing. I need to get a lot better at editing. So I have the polished ones, so let me show you those. The weather today here was a regular spring. Sorry about 15 degrees Celsius. Ugh. Yeah, it's not too bad, but I do have like my heater on and stuff. So here are our polished fork, knife, and spoon. So I think my favorite is actually the fork itself. This one turned out pretty decent. What I did was I took the angle grinder to the tongs or the tines of the fork, and I kind of avoided using the angle grinder on the twisted area. Instead, I used a steel wire brush on this. It is something that you can kind of attach to a drill, and so I polished it up with the steel brush, and it got rid of a lot of the like really blackness there, but there's still a bunch of forged texture on here. So I actually really like that. It's pretty good to handle, and I think it's really nice to touch. So the knife is the one that I'm least happy with, I think. This guy, I'm just not very good at making blades, right? So there's some little bits of like waviness going on here, and I don't have like a belt sander, so I can't really like get a good edge on a knife. And then because I'm kind of like rusty at my cleanup even, I kind of used the angle grinder on the curves of the twist, and so I kind of made some like weird errors here and there, and I did my best to use a 120 grit sandpaper on there, so it's less uncomfortable to pick up than it was when we started, but it's still just, I don't know, visually not where I wanted it to be. But this guy is the spoon, and this is actually my favorite handle that we did on our silverware, right? So I think that's really gorgeous. It's really nice to the touch. I like it a lot. However, the bowl itself, it kind of looks like something took a bite out of it in this little corner here, and that's due to the fact that we just didn't quite shape this quite right. There's also a few like little lumps and bumps inside of the bowl of the spoon that I just wasn't able to get with my grinders and stuff. So we'll be able to like get a little bit better in the future, I think. But so far we're still scraping off the rust, and we're doing all right though. Looks like something from medieval times. By that I mean it looks good, really good. Well, I'm glad that you like them, Dark. Like I said, I think they're pretty decent for, stuff that I did on stream, and I was kind of like really wobbly with my process a little bit. I'm still really rusty, so I think I did all right, but I think we could do better if we were more comfy. So, but yeah, I think they turned out all right. So the spoon video, like the condensed version, is up, and it is on YouTube for you guys to watch. It's about 13 minutes and some change, and I'm okay, happy with it. I think I did as well as I can with the footage that I've got. JTI 858. Welcome in. It's You say that you would use them to eat. Well, I'm glad someone would use them to eat. I do think that they would be good for like reenactment and stuff, and they're a lot smoother than a lot of reenactment silverware that I've worked with in the past at medieval events and things like that. But they're not up to my jeweler's standards, so I think that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with them. So yeah, but thank you for the compliment. And we will definitely continue getting better as we go. Let's see. So I think I am gonna start up the forge. Like I said, it's a little on the cooler side today. So I do have my heater over here going, and it's pumping out a lot of heat, and I'm pretty comfy. But I think getting the forge up will make it a little bit warmer, and then maybe I can get rid of my jacket. It's pretty bulky, and I don't really like using it if I can get away with it. So let's start with that. Yes. Nice and lit. Alrighty, so let's put my headphones on. It's starting to get loud with the forge starting. Flame on, exactly, flame on. Alrighty. So, like I said, we are going to continue to work on our paperclip. It's going to be a ginormous paperclip, just to kind of decorate the shop a little bit and work out a little bit of YouTube frustration. So we're going to start heating that up a bit. So I think that I have been doing a lot of editing recently with the different videos, specifically the spoon video that I just finished up, and then also the fork video. I've kind of started editing it, and I'm not entirely happy with the footage I've gotten. Some of the footage, or like the sound for that video, was awful. That was the day that it was like below freezing, and it was in like the teens, and I was really cold, and not all of the camera stuff was working very well. So I'm thinking that there's just like a few things that I feel like I need to improve about the way that I film things for my YouTube shorts. I think I've got a pretty decent handle on the Twitch side of things, but I kind of don't feel like I need to record everything that I'm doing with Twitch anymore. I think I can get away with kind of like picking and choosing what sort of stuff that I want to actually record, so that it's a little bit easier for me to edit in the future, and so I have a little bit more time for planning and, you know, increasing the quality of the content that I'm producing, both on Twitch and on YouTube. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna kind of start writing scripts and sort of planning things. And I mean, I don't want to do like scripts where I'm just like reading things off or anything like that. I kind of want to do things like, I've got bullet point lists that I've got to, you know, so that way it kind of reminds me of things that I need to talk about. So when I was going through the footage of the fork video that I've been editing, I'm finding that there are certain things that I just never said, like explanations that I really wanted to talk about for the video, and it's not in the footage. So I think that adding a list of bullet points for myself to kind of remind myself like topics that I want to talk about will, you know, help me keep on track. And there will be plenty of time for us to just chit chat away between heats and like between different shots that I want to do. And there will definitely be like streams where I'm not even shooting videos. So I will have plenty of time to chat. So because I don't want to give that up. I love talking to you guys. But I think I need a little bit more organization and planning in my life so I can kind of pursue some different sorts of projects. Like I said, I wasn't happy with the level of polish that I was able to get with the fork, knife, and spoon. So I kind of really want to, reduce the amount of time that I'm stuck in the house editing so I can come out here and do that extra, grinding and sanding and polish that I really want to do for these projects. So yeah, I've got a couple scripts in the works, and I don't have one for today, but I think starting maybe Monday, there's a chance that I'll have a script for Friday, but I'm thinking it's going to start on Monday. So I hope you guys are, okay with that. I can kind of, bring you behind the scenes of my YouTube videos a bit. I enjoy the possibility of interacting with you through the chat. Yeah, I love talking to you guys, and that is like something that I don't want to lose by scripting things out. So it's like I kind of want to just like say a couple sentences to cover each bullet point, and then so that'll take me a couple minutes maybe, and then the subsequent time I just want to be able to chat with you guys, because I think I get a lot of really good information, and it's just a really good time to socialize with you guys, and I don't want to lose that. That is the one, that's the most important part of streaming. I just the interactions with you guys, so I don't want to lose that. But as I said before, it's your stream, so it's your game. Yeah, like it's more like I just need to keep my brain on track, because I have a tendency to kind of like start sentences and then like completely forget my train of thought and then start talking about something completely and totally different. And while it's kind of something that happens to me, and it's kind of my personality, but I also want to make sure that I get good information out for both my stream audience as well as my YouTube audience. And if it doesn't work out, if I get too robotic and I'm forgetting about you guys, then we can definitely, just go back to the way things were before, where everything was unscripted. But I just want to have a little bit more organization for my brain, so that I know, things to talk to you guys about, even when people are being a little bit more quiet because they've got me on the second screen, and they're doing other things. So I want to be able to be entertaining for people that are just walking in, as well as, informative. And I don't want, the YouTube videos to take away from the interactions that we have. So let's see. It looks like we need a little bit more time on our to get some more heat in on the paperclip, but very, very shortly we'll be able to start hammering things, and that's the best part of this whole the whole Twitch thing is just hammering on the hot metal and talking to you guys. So I feel like blacksmithing itself is the most entertaining part of, the visuals, at least. We do have some very riveting conversations. Let's see. All right, I think I'm going to turn on the recording on the Anvil cam. And I'm going to turn on the recording on the wide. That way I've got a little bit of footage that I can use. Alrighty. Looks like we've got plenty of heat. Alright, so I need to undo this just a little bit so I have plenty of space to drop this down a little bit further. You mentioned that you want to use the paperclip as a decoration for your shop. Do you already have some things there already? I do have a few sorts of different things that I do have as decorations or in the shop. Most of my decorations are actually on that side of the shop though. It's really hard to decorate behind me right now because I've got that giant garage door there. I've got my partner has some vacation time coming up, and I've kind of been hoping that we can kind of rearrange the shop. My ideal streaming setup would actually be to turn the entire setup around so that instead of facing the garage door, we're facing the opposite wall. And I think that would be a much better setup because there's a lot. We can control the light a lot better, and there is a wall with like steel coming up on it, and that will kind of reflect some of the heat coming out of the forge. And there's some shelving back there that we can kind of display some stuff, some previous projects and stuff like that. So that's kind of a goal that I'd like to do sometime this spring if we can manage it. But we do have some family coming in around the same time, so I'm not entirely sure exactly when we'll get through it. It might just be some weekend sometime. But yeah, I would love to display this paperclip. So I'm thinking that we're definitely going to finish the paperclip today. So my next project that I want to do for Friday is actually going to be, I want to make a hook so that we can hammer it into the wall and display the paperclip. So I think that's what I'm planning on doing for Friday's stream, at least right now. That's an idea for future streams. Take us on a tour around your shop if you haven't already and I just missed it. When I first started streaming, like the first couple days, I did a shop tour, but like it wasn't a very good one. It was kind of just me walking around with my phone camera. And so I definitely want to do another shop tour. I want to do one for the YouTube as well as for the Twitch. You guys here on Twitch will get a little bit more detail of the shop because then you'll get the uncut version of the tour. Whereas I think that I can kind of curate what people on YouTube will be able to see. So that is in the plan, but I think I would like to do it after I rearrange the shop a little bit. But I mean, my press, or the new bottle jack for my press is supposed to be coming between Friday and Monday, sometime in that time frame. And I'd like to be able to kind of move the shop, or, you know, with the press all taken care of, it'll make it a lot easier to manage. So that is in the cards eventually. It should be within the next month to 2 months on that shop tour. And then on, let's see. So once I get the bottle jack reinstalled into the press, we're going to start doing another set of tongs, and we're going to spend the entire time on the press. So I'll do a little bit of the detail work on the anvil, because I mean, there's some stuff that you just can't do with the press. It's more of a big generalized a piece of equipment, and so like for the detail work and, you know, kind of smoothing things out, I still have to do the hand forging, but I'm really looking forward to that. Fair enough. Yeah, so we will definitely be back in, or, you know, doing a shop tour within the next 2 months, but it could take me a little, like I said, it'll probably take me a little bit, just because I want to get the shop in clean and in a better working order. Right now, a lot of the shop is just like, I've pushed a whole bunch of stuff that used to be like where the cameras are. I've kind of shoved it all in a corner, because there's just a lot of stuff in the shop. I've got so much equipment that, you know, my shop is kind of busting at the walls, and so I've made a giant mess to get to the point where I could stream. Alrighty. We're gonna go back to the anvil cave and do a little bit more forging. Like I said, it's a little on the colder side, and it's really, really windy. So I've got my door over there cracked, but with the wind coming through, it's starting to like open and close a little bit. So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it creaking open and closed, but there is a rather fast wind coming through. So it's a little jarring at times. I've got a pass-through back door back there, and it keeps shaking on me. I looked on Google though, and there's no like wind advisory or anything like that. So I'm hoping that it's not too bad. The one annoying thing about being a blacksmith and having like a shop that's like not heated or cooled is that I am kind of at the mercy of the weather. Because I'm indoors, I don't have to worry about like rain or anything like that. But I am beholden to like the temperature. So if it gets really, really, really cold or really, really hot, it gets really hard to come out here. It's definitely worth it coming out even if I'm like cold or really hot, because I do enjoy talking to you guys, but yeah, it can be uncomfortable at times. I know I'm complaining about the wind right now, but I will like beg for the wind to come back in the summertime when it's really, really hot. All right, let's see. Oh, we're starting to get a really nice amount of heat in that forge. The forge itself is starting to heat up, so it's taking a lot less time to heat the material. So there are different types of hammer handles, and this is something that you guys, probably know. A lot of you know because a lot of you are familiar with Yankee's stream, Yankee Axe, and so he does a lot of rehandling for axes and old tools, right? Well, there's a couple different styles of hammer handles that people have been using historically, and this is kind of a longer handle, and I have really, really small hands, and so I'm not a big fan of long-handled hammers. The other style of hammer is a short hammer, and some examples of short-handled hammers are these guys right here, right? So there's not actually all that much extra handle length beyond where I hold this handle. And it's the same with this guy, this little cross peen right here. And then my main cross peen, I rehandled this guy. It's a little bit short. So for me, I enjoy the short handle tools. This guy has got a long handle, and I have a tendency to like hit the end of the hammerhead on the top of the anvil face, and it kind of wrecks my hammer blow. It kind of takes that precision away. So I really like the short handles, but a lot of people actually do like the long handles. So I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the long handles or the short handles on your tools? Or is that something that you haven't really thought about? Yeah, I keep hitting the end of my hammer handle on the face of the anvil. I prefer a handle that fits. That makes sense. I mean, it's a lot easier to have a handle that like fits into, the head of the hammer I've got this hammer that I just picked up and not this one. This hammer that I picked up and showed you, it actually is like, it's not sitting in there correctly. The wood area itself, it's kind of been like cracked. So I think what happened for this one is that the wedge came out of it. So it's like, it's really wobbly and it doesn't fit right in here. But if I don't have a choice, I just use what's available. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, when you have a tool, you gotta use what you've got. I'm drinking a lot of water today. I didn't think I would drink a lot of water today because, I mean, it's not warm or anything today. So I thought that I would be able to get away with the lower amount of water. But I'm starting to regret using or picking up this cup. I have another water cup that I can use. It's so big. It doesn't fit in my hand. I once nearly knocked the nail off of my thumb. I never knew how many swear words I knew until that moment. Oh, I hear you on that one. So I do a lot of jewelry work and a lot of like miniature sculptures with metal. And I've got a disc cutter and it's about yay big. It's like a square and it's got a whole bunch of like discs or like round circles. And it's two plates that are kind of riveted together and you can slide a piece of metal in between them. And then it's got these little plungers that you put in the holes and then you hammer on those plungers and it'll punch out the metal. It's very similar to like a hole punch for like in your office or whatever. Anyway, it's like designed for metal. And so you use a hammer and you hit it onto like the little round section. And one time I went wailing on the little plunger and I missed and I broke my finger, like my pointer finger. I broke it and I had never felt any pain like that before. It was absolutely awful. The only other pain that has ever matched it was kidney stones. Ugh. Ugh. All right. Let's do another heat. I do not wish kidney stones on anyone. That is so painful. I even switched between about 5 different languages while hopping around wondering how much damage I caused my finger. Oh, gross. I'm so sorry. It's so painful. It's like, and that was with a nail hammer, like a claw hammer. These guys hurt quite a bit too. I'm not sure if I think that claw hammers are worse or if forging hammers are worse, because a lot of claw hammers have the textured heads on them. And oh, I cannot imagine hammering my thumb with one of those really textured hammer or claw hammer heads. But I mean, at least these guys, while they're heavy and you can put a lot of power behind them, at least they're not textured. You're always gonna want like mirror shine forging hammers if you can manage it. I can't imagine those highly textured claw hammers. Well, I consider it as a reminder to be careful. Yes, yes. I don't know if you guys remember the last time we were doing a set of tongs. They were the scrolling tongs. I was cutting the hole in, or punching in the hole for the boss, for the rivet. And I was talking about hammering, or to be very careful and not hammer your thumb while using the punch. And I just like slammed into my finger. Oh, it hurt so bad. Ugh. Today I've got this finger. I was yesterday, like I said, I was like doing some polishing, some sanding, and with the Dremel. And I love that tool because you can get really into like corners and stuff like that. But I accidentally got my finger, so I sanded off my knuckle yesterday. So it's a little painful today, but we're getting through it. We are getting through it. It's one of those, like, this was strike one. So I didn't end up getting any further than strike one, but strike one it was. Let's see. Do we got enough heat now? It looks like we do. Let's do some rounding off. Alrighty, I am going to refresh my clips because we just had an ad. I was a little late on starting this. Lost anything. But I want to start them up again so I don't lose anything good. So yeah, there is an inherent risk in blacksmithing. It's kind of one of those things where you will burn yourself and you will hammer your finger, and there's a lot of like different minor injuries that you can do, but there's also like a few things that you can do that's a little bit more than just like minor scrapes and burns. You've got to be really, really careful because you are working with very hot fire. You got to make sure that you're not, that your forge isn't too close to any structures, and you're using lots and lots of ventilation because, I mean, you could set a building on fire, or, you know, if you're inside of a building and you don't have enough ventilation, you can really mess up your lungs with carbon monoxide poisoning. So there are some inherent risks with blacksmithing, but they can be definitely mitigated with a little bit of care and research. So if you are thinking about starting to be a blacksmith or starting to, you know, do hobby blacksmithing, keep stuff like that in mind. Also, make sure that you are following your local and, you know, federal laws. Make sure that if, you know, you're not forging things that are illegal, like, you know, knives in some of the European countries. So that can also be relatively important, or not relatively, but it is incredibly important to keep in mind when you are blacksmithing. So I bought myself a whiteboard with like dry erase markers. So my whiteboard I can use the dry erase markers with, and the last couple streams I've kind of been giving myself a few topics to kind of talk about, so that I don't, you know, I have a big issue with kind of dead air. I definitely don't want to, you know, keep long stretches of me talking about nothing. So I kind of started putting some different topics that I might be able to talk about on that whiteboard. But today I was like, well, I'm going to do specifically a chatting stream. And I'll even put it in the title. So we've got our, you know, forging paperclips and chatting as our title. So I didn't actually give myself any topics, but figuring that, you know, I would, you know, be able to talk to you guys more. So I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments so I can react to them today. Really enjoying speaking with you. Okay, let's start. Bending this guy back. We're getting to the point now where I started with a really, really long rod because I wasn't sure how much material I was going to need. And now I'm getting to the point where I am not actually going to have enough material that I'm going to be able to hold it with a bare hand. So I'm going to have to get a welding glove to pick it out, because that last little end is going to be really, really hot if I don't. So, woohoo! We have reached our follower goal. Thank you guys so much. Wolf Heeman 2, thank you so much for that follow. I greatly appreciate it. We have reached our 130 goal, so we're going to up that to 140. And that is very, very exciting. I love growing the community. So we've got about 130 followers here, and we've got about 62 subscribers on YouTube. So our little community is starting to grow. I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much. Just as hot as me. Yes. Welcome in, Boston. How are you today? Oh, it took a while for that emote to load in for me, for whatever reason. Hi. I find, like, somehow my new, or like when I opened OBS today, it the extensions kind of showed up. So that's really exciting. I can actually start seeing all of the extended emotes. I'm actually planning to try something new for my videos too. And Boston is doing great. Awesome. I've been chilling all day and relaxing. Exam week is over and I survived. Ooh, I'm so excited for that. Exam week being over, that's great. I'm awesome. So Dark, what sorts of videos are you planning on doing for your channel? I really look forward to seeing some of your videos, but I don't think that you have VODs turned on, because I can't always make it to your active streams. I was able to get that one. There was one that was a couple weeks ago, and I was able to watch that one, but that's the only one I've been able to catch live. So, what sorts of videos? I have an old tablet, and I'm planning on putting it into an engine compartment. Ooh. That would be entertaining. So what would be going on in that sort of engine compartment? Is that like where, I mean, I know you guys probably don't use coal, but I guess that's like really the only thing that I can like really think of. It would be entertaining to watch people scoop coal, but like I said, I think that's a little bit too old for the current modern trains. I think they're more... I don't feel like they burn manually shoveled coal anymore. So yeah, I'm very curious about what sort of things we would see from the engine compartment. All right, we've got a little bit of heat, so I'm going to do another heat. For some more hammering. Oh, I forgot. I need to grab my welding helmet, because that's a little bit on the warm side. It's not hot yet, like not burning hot, but it will be soon. So if I get my glove out now, then I won't burn myself by accident later. Apollo. How are you today? So I'll place it there and it'll sort of be an ASMR sort of thing. The engine sounds mostly, and I'll get the right angle. You might see the RPM regulator going up and down. Really starting to look like something now. It really is. ASMR is such it's like an interesting genre to do videos for. I feel like they're so simple, but at the same time, a lot of them can be really, really complex. So I'm really looking forward to seeing yours. Hello, Mick Dibbs. Welcome in. How is everybody doing today? I'm sure it'll work out for you, Dark. It's kind of one of those things where the more you do it, the better you get at it. I know that I've been slowly improving in my streaming and my editing. And I kind of feel like it's kind of, a little bit like that with everything. When you start, maybe you're okay at it, but as you continue doing it more and more, like a new skill, you just get better and better at it. So, I mean, even if it doesn't work out very well in the first few times you do it, just keep trying it. And, you'll start learning stuff and it'll get better and better as you go. So, yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing your stuff, Dark. But yeah, I'm also myself, I'm learning a lot about the different things that, I can do better for my stream, for my YouTube, using the cameras, all of that stuff. I'm not amazingly familiar with it all, so it's been interesting learning a new skill. The opposite problem tend to be really good at something and get worse and worse, but I'm special. Huh. I mean, I've heard of that happening, and sometimes that happens to me too. I kind of feel like the initial time that I try something, sometimes I get a lot of beginner's luck, and then when or maybe I'm getting a lot of help from somebody, and then when I try and do it alone, it just feels like everything falls apart on me, and it's just awful. But I still find that if the more you do something, the better you get at it, even if it's a slow process. I mean, it's kind of like, 2 step forward, 1 step back. You know what I mean? The older diesel electronics will be more interesting. The modern types have a payload of electronics and not too many moving parts. Yeah, I do feel like older diesel probably would be more entertaining, because I mean, a lot of the modern stuff, wouldn't it be very digital? And that would be kind of boring. Just watching screens all the time. Hi, Jack Frost. It'll be trial and error at first. That makes sense. A lot of things are just trial and error. It's like, what is entertaining and what is not? And, it's kind of one of those things where it's entertaining for somebody, but somebody else it's not entertaining for at all. So it's kind of like you kind of gotta strike a balance of entertaining for as many people as possible. I used to work at this grocery store, and we had a bakery. And I worked in this little restaurant in the front of the grocery store. And in the morning, people would bring me donuts from the bakery, and they could pay for the donuts with their restaurant food. So I had this guy, and he came up to me and he set down a donut, and I was like, "Ooh, are you excited about eating your donut? Is it really, was it good?" And he's like, "Nah. It was a little bit too soft." And sometimes the donuts are a little bit too hard and crispy. And I really like, a middle where it's not too soft and not too crispy. And it never quite gets that. Every time I come in here, I just hope that it's, that nice happy medium, and it's barely ever that. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Is there something that I can do to kind of like help that, or, let them know? And he's like, no, it's all right. You can't please everybody all the time, but you can please some people sometimes. And that little piece of wisdom right there, I've held on to that. It's just so important, and it's kind of become one of the guiding stars of my life. You can please some people sometimes, but you cannot please everyone all the time. And so it's just, you do the best you can, Well, I'll have 3 days to try it out, and we'll see in here. I have day, night, and day ships coming up now. Yeah. And it definitely is an old saying, Mr. Debs. It's such a good one, though. And it's like I said, it's one of my guiding stars in my life, because it's just, I have to know that I need to just let go. If I can't please if I can't please someone specific, I can do the best I can to please as many people as possible. But when someone gets angry at me because of something that I just don't feel like I can do anything about, then I just need to remember to let it go, All right, we've got plenty of time for another heat real fast. And then we will very shortly have another ad. So let's start foraging. You will drive yourself crazy trying to please everyone. You really, really will. So yeah, it's like there's just no pleasing some people. So you just got to kind of know when to let it go. There is, something to be said for attempting to please some people and, to help the people and, reach the expectations that are put upon you, like at work and stuff like that. But it's you have to know when to let it go when it's hopeless, because just because you can't please one person doesn't mean that you aren't valid, or that your product or what you're doing isn't going to be of value to other people. And I mean, that's something that I'm trying to keep in mind with my YouTube channel. I've gotten a couple of negative comments throughout my time posting videos this last 3 months. And I'm kind of just trying to, learn and grow and let things go. Oh dear, now I have the song from Frozen running through my mind. Let it go, let it go. Yep. I know that is such like a popular movie, but I was a little bit old when it came out, and I don't have any kids myself, so like I never watched it when it first came out. We ended up watching it like a couple years ago, just because we were kind of curious about it when we got Disney Plus. So we watched Frozen 1 and Frozen 2, and so I've now seen them, but for the longest time, I didn't know what people were talking about with the whole Frozen thing. So it was an entertaining movie, and, you know, like every Disney movie, there's kind of a moral of the story. And I kind of feel like that song kind of superseded any moral that, you know, aside from that one that they were trying to go for. I'm going to flip my clips real fast. That can keep on recording. Now writing, please wait. Okay. My camera being fickle. Hey, I'm 35 years old and I still like cartoons. Man, I still like cartoons too. I love cartoons. I am a big anime fan, but I'm also like, I will watch a lot of American cartoons too. Like, I watched the, what was it? Voltron, the new one that was on Netflix, and I watched Kippo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, and I watched their like She-Ra, and I watched so many of those new ones that are on Netflix, and some of the new ones that are on Disney Plus. A lot of them are really, really good. I liked them a lot. The last one that I fell in love with, that was like for kids, like specifically for kids, was a show called Owl House. And it's about this girl who goes through a magic door into an alternate universe. And that was such a good show. I hate that movie. I hate it. I will explain. I was staying with a friend, and they had a toddler who had Frozen basically 24/7, and would go to bed at night without bringing it on. They would do anything without Frozen on it. It was a Frozen babysitter. Oh man. Kids are like that though. They'll kind of fixate on one thing, right? When my sister was like 3 years old, she would just she fixated on The Lion King. Like the cartoon, the Disney one, it had just come out, and she just watched it on repeat like for months. And I got to this point where I just never wanted to watch The Lion King ever again. And I mean, I've gotten over that now. I could probably go and watch it now, but yeah. Definitely not on my list of favorite movies to watch. Bluesy, welcome in. How are you doing today? Let's see. Do we have enough heat now? We do have enough heat. I am going to take a forging break real fast. That's kind of part of the reason why you guys come to visit me. That's why you sing the alternate version of Let It Go, huh? YouTube videos. Because, you know, if I'm missing an entire block of idea that I need to get across on my YouTube video, that means I have to go and write the script, and then I have to go out and sit in my truck and voice over it. And I don't really want to voice over if I don't have to, because then I have to create artificial room noise, and it's a big whole thing. Well, I have been planting all day, and I am a little, tired. Ooh, that is a lot of work, planting. So, is it warm? Is it like starting to get warm out there? Or are you guys planting early? I know that some farmers do end up planting early. Did you back and you know what you're doing? Let it go, you mean take an Enigma. I'm old and sometimes, I need to do that. Well, with my tractor. Yeah, I like tractor or no, farming can be absolutely exhausting. I mean, you kind of have to like fill your planting, the things that you drag the planter. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. But you do have to like load it with seeds and stuff like that. It just doesn't magically appear in your tractor. I imagine that could be relatively tiring after a while. It is warming up, but this is for my early crops. The seed boxes. I had family who was farmers, like my grandparents were farmers. But like they moved off of they sold off the farm section of their farm when I was like about 10 years old. So I just don't remember a lot of the actual like farming stuff. I remember like cows, and I remember them making growing hay, but I don't remember like the specifics of it. The seed drill. Yeah, I have a seed drill. But yeah, I can imagine that it would be exhausting whether you're with the tractor or not. So hopefully you can kind of sit back and relax and, get something to eat and something to drink and, rest for tomorrow's jobs. So I'm glad you chose to join us today. All right, so we're gonna do another heat. I just finished eating and drinking, and am drinking a cup of tea. It has been a long time since I've had tea. I was craving it the other day, so I bought it from the grocery store, but I haven't actually drank any of it. I need to actually do that. I really, really like black tea. Earl Grey's is my favorite. Alright, so we have quenched that off just like I said I was gonna. So now we'll get a little bit less movement on the areas we don't want movement. Got a little bit of warpage going on here, so we're going to kind of hammer back and correct that a bit. And we'll straighten this out. And then put it back in the forge. Just remember, tea is not made in a microwave. I like Earl Grey too, but no sugar, no milk, just tea. Yeah, I don't actually use any like cream or sugar in my tea either. I don't know why. I just like the really, straight Earl Grey taste. It's that kind of that like bitter, almost sweet. I love that flavor. And I'm sorry, but I do actually use the microwave to make my tea. What I actually end up doing is I'll take my cup and I'll just fill it with water. I'll nuke the water, before I put the tea bag in there. So it's still boiling water with the microwave, but I'm not microwaving the tea in the mug when I'm microwaving it. So I don't know if that's better or not. Earl Grey isn't bad. At the moment, I am enjoying a nice cup of green with honey, though. It relaxes me. Yeah, green tea is really good for relaxation. Here in the States, we actually have like specific mixes that are supposed to do stuff. So there's like a sleepy time mix that you can buy at the grocery store, and that's supposed to be like really relaxing. I've never had any of those like specifically designed ones. Most of what I've had is like just green tea and black tea. And then I've had Southern tea, and I'm not entirely sure what Southern tea is. Like the sweet tea that you get in the south of the United States. So it's kind of like sun tea, I guess. You kind of just like pour a whole bunch of water in a jug, and then you put a bunch of tea bags and you set it outside. And that's their sweet tea. I'm not entirely sure what type of leaves they're using, though. I like chamomile tea for relaxation purposes. Yeah, chamomile. I think that's probably the majority of what's in the Sleepy Time blend in the US. But like I said, I'm not entirely sure how reliable the tea in the United States is. We are more of a coffee society, and I kind of feel like tea sometimes gets shoved into the wayside in favor of coffee and like the different flavored coffees. I kind of like every time I go to Starbucks and order an Earl Grey, the baristas look at me like I'm some kind of crazy person. But I mean, I don't like coffee. I just never have. I like the smell of it. I just don't like the taste. I only drink oolong, and green tea matcha is quite nice too, as is proper powdered green tea. I know that you can get matcha powder, and I've seen a lot of stuff made with it, like on the internet, but I've never actually bought any myself. Hey, what about Long Island iced tea? I mean, yeah, Long Island iced tea. Get some of that booze in with that tea. Good evening, Basic Salad and Sandwich. How are you doing today? Coffee is not about the taste, it's about the caffeine. I mean, yeah, that there is a truth to that, but I kind of feel like I can get enough caffeine for me as a person from drinking my Mountain Dew all the time. And when it's available, I tend to drink some energy drinks on occasion if I'm really looking for caffeine. And I know that soda is like so bad for you. Like it'll rot your teeth right out of your head. But I don't know. I'm just like, I have an addiction to it. I have recently, gotten back into drinking water because I've been coming out to the shop more frequently. And if I only drink soda in the shop, I'll develop kidney stones. So I've been drinking about 40 ounces of water every day, which is quite a lot for someone my size. I constantly have to use the bathroom. Did you know caffeine was introduced into the US or the Americas as it was at the time by the English? No, just booze, no tea in the Long Island iced tea. I didn't know that caffeine was introduced by the British. Because, I thought that caffeine was kind of like a South American thing, and it got brought up from there, just like coffee. But that's an interesting tidbit if it came from England. But I agree that coffee belongs to things that smell much better than they taste. Yep. Like cigarettes, they smell great until some idiot sets fire to them. I don't know. I don't really like the smell of cigarettes, even if they're not lit. I think part of that for me is because I actually grew up in a halfway house. I was like, my parents weren't in the halfway house, but my mother was a social worker for a halfway house. So everybody who came, to her practice, they were all heavy smokers. And I just can't stand that smell anymore. It just reminds me of the halfway house and everything that happened there. So I tend to stay away from cigarettes as best I can. Sometimes, obviously, you can't avoid it because, people are going to smoke if they're going to smoke, but I try my best to avoid it. All right, we're going to do another heat real fast. And we are going to quench it off a bit. It develops fire scale and then it flies off at me. And that is why it's essential that we use safety glasses when we're in the shop. So we're starting to really get there. I want to reduce the size of this little area a little bit further, but it's probably only going to be a couple more heats, and then we'll do another wrap around here. I think we have just enough for the wrap, so I'll probably not do it immediately because I need to draw out that straight section, and if I try and draw it out while I vent it, then this section will get in the way. Internalize our process today a little bit. Okay, I promise not to smoke in your presence. Well, I very much appreciate that. There are some types of coffee. I have my own blend of coffee. It's mellow, creamy texture with a stronger bite, and it's blend of an Indian coffee bean and it's a blend of an Indian coffee bean and a coffee bean from Yemen. Yes, I like coffee. I imagine, most of the beans that we get in the United States are actually from Colombia. And most of them are from South America. So I have never actually been able to come into contact with an Indian bean. But I have seen documentaries on Indian coffee, and that is so interesting to me. It's like they've got that heated sand, and they kind of stir your coffee around in it. And I'm just like, do they have a hot plate at the bottom? How does that work? They've got to have a hot plate at the bottom, Interesting. And it looks really, really good for whatever reason. And here I thought you were a frequent user of Colin Fuse's safety squints. Yeah, I do have safety glasses, but I also, sometimes I am a squinter. I kind of feel like I'm more of the type of person that I never forgo my safety glasses, but sometimes I forgo some of the other safety pieces of equipment. I don't recommend it, but sometimes when I'm welding, I only use one welding glove. Or if I'm doing some quick cutting instead of wearing my mask, and this is the worst for me specifically, I'll just hold my breath. But that is absolutely horrible for me because my lungs are the primary injury that I had from when I got sick. So I should be so much more careful about my breathing and always wear a mask when I need it, but sometimes it's just so inconvenient. I have to like strip off my headset and it's just annoying. I am officially a coffee Philistine. I use the freeze-dried or something instant stuff which only needs hot water. Ugh. That is kind of the worst coffee, I feel like. I mean, yeah. I will also say that from what I've heard, Starbucks has a tendency to like burn their beans. And that is also a kind of a travesty to like, you know, major coffee drinkers. A lot of them just won't go to Starbucks. They'll go to like smaller chains. Remember, not wearing suitable PPE equals ouch, but if the arch comes, don't complain about it. It's your own fault. Exactly. If you don't wear PPE and you get injured, it is your own fault because you should have worn PPE. You know you should wear PPE. And yeah. Most people say that, but I found a brand that's good enough for me. Well, I'm glad that you found a good brand of instant coffee. You'll have to share with the class because a lot of people, you know, they just like, the instant coffee is just disgusting. So I don't know, maybe you found a magic brand. Magic brand. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna do another heat. And we'll see what we got. The main problem with Starbucks is not their coffee beans. It's you when you make the coffee with steamed milk that they oversteam the milk and burn it. And then when the milk loses any flavor whatsoever, there's no point in putting it in. Huh. That is an entertaining thought. I never really because I don't drink a lot of coffee, I guess I never thought that maybe that could happen. But that is definitely something that could happen because, I mean, they keep the warm milk on a hot plate. And the longer something sits on a hot plate, the easier it is to burn it. So that could actually be the case. It's the Organic House brand by Rue, German supermarket chain. Not sure if it's known over there. Yeah, I don't think so. I wonder. So here in the States, we have this grocery store called Aldi's. And a lot of their brand, or they have a lot of store brand names or store brand. And what that actually is a lot of it is German products. And I wonder if you could get it there. Because, I mean, like I said, Aldi, it's a German company. And they have a lot of cheaper prices. A lot of people will go there for their groceries. There's a lot of value there. But you're not buying your typical American brands there. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go. Have a good day. Rest of your night, Dark. Thank you for joining us as long as you did. Aldi is German too. Aldi is German. They are not bad. Namro is their competition. It's pronounced more like Reve. Interesting. I'm not really up on German phonetics, but I imagine that they would be different. Pretty close. Dark, I have the same problem. Do you also have to go to bed, Bluesy? You should probably get some sleep if it's getting really late for you. I don't want to be the cause of you, staying up far too late, but, I will be here if you just don't want to go to sleep. So yeah, I'm kind of actually relatively interested in what's going to happen to Aldi because here in the United States, we've been applying some interesting economic policies with some tariffs. And I know that Germany isn't subject to them right now, but I don't know. There's been some talk about more tariffs. And that's all I'm going to say about politics. But I am interested in finding out what happens. It is 2,200, but I need to milk at 300. Oh, that's only 5 hours away. Mind you, if you won't go coffee, which are not a big coffee drinker, so it's not really a big issue if finding decent coffee roaster. They can introduce you a different kind of coffee, especially if they have a shop front. You go there and you tell them what you're looking for, and they can recommend something interesting. E is pronounced close to like I did, and the pronunciation is pretty straightforward most of the time, as opposed to grammar. So it is pronounced like that most of the time. No funny changes in pronunciation because of following consonants in English. Interesting economic policies is one way to put it. Yes. I'm gonna try and stay, I did put the whole no politics or religion in chat rule in there for a reason. So I try to be relatively neutral. So yeah. Interesting is the word that you're gonna get from me. All right. I do not assume that most of Aldi products are actually imported from Germany. Yeah, I'm not honestly sure. There are some imported products from Aldi, from Germany in the Aldi stores, but I don't imagine like every product, because definitely not meats and produces. Things that go bad really easily, but like a lot of the non-perishables, I do actually think a lot of them are imported. But I don't know that for sure, because I've never worked there and I don't know anybody who has. So it would be interesting to find out. Yeah. German language. Aldi owns a lot of American brands. Do they? I wasn't sure. Like I said, I know that Aldi is a German company, and there are a lot of like German brands that are there. At least that was my assumption. They have England or Englishized names on the packaging though, because I feel like they wouldn't get very much in the way of traction if all of their products were named with German names, at least for food. I know IKEA does pretty well with all of their Dutch names, or that might actually be the wrong language. And if it is, I apologize. But yeah, IKEA maintains their the naming conventions from Sweden here in the United States. But I'm not entirely sure that like Aldi would do as well with the original German names. Trader Joe's is Swedish. Oh, ads. Yep. Trader Joe's is Swedish. But like I said, a lot of those products, the Trader Joe's products, are also, they have Americanized names in them. Oh, is Trader Joe's Aldi? That is not actually surprising if Trader Joe's is Aldi, because it like a lot of their brands or branding are very individualized. So it doesn't surprise me that Aldi and Trader Joe's are the same company. And I also think that at one point Kroger was kind of looking at buying them out. And I'm not sure what country Kroger is from. Yeah, and IKEA is definitely Swedish. And a lot of their names are Swedish. But I feel like they get away with it because of the ambiance, maybe. A lot of people don't actually know that Aldi and Trader Joe's are German. If you have to look at Old English languages, it has a lot of similarities with Scandinavian and German. Yeah, it does. Because, I mean, prior to the Roman Empire getting to the English Isles, or I guess the Great Britain Isles, British Isles, is that what? Yeah. As I am American, I don't have quite as well, or I'm not quite as well versed in world politics and geography as a lot of other countries. And it's kind of becoming more apparent more recently, some of the holes in my education. But yeah, before the Romans came to the British Isles, a lot of them were, they were like Scandinavian colonies from like the Vikings and stuff. So I am aware of the Germanic origins of the English language, or some of them at least. Must be about 12,000 years. The language has changed into what we speak today, and over 200 years it's changed into what you speak today. Actually, Trader Joe's is German, I think. Also Aldi and the other Aldi, and there are two in Germany. Aldi Nord and Aldi Süd, North and South. One of them is Aldi in the US, the other is Trader Joe's. Interesting. Medivh is Old English and Freeskin. It's basically the same language. Interesting. I'm getting quite the education. I am gonna do a heat real fast now that the ads are done. So next heat, we might actually start rounding it, so turning it about 90 degrees. And it helps when I actually hit the right camera. I do need to flip my clips real fast, and then I will get back to the conversation. Awesome. We want to learn forging, so teach, O wise master. Yes. Then you have Liddy, who is also German. I don't know that I've heard of Liddy. IKEA had some interesting names. There was a bed of all things called Gutvik. It sounds like another word combination in German, which could be translated with F well. Oh, wow. That would be interesting. I guess that is an interesting factoid. Yeah, I am relatively ignorant when it comes to the names from IKEA of like different pieces of furniture. They all sound really odd to me, but you know, they are very memorable names. Yeah, very memorable. Little, not Liddy. Huh. Yeah, my pronunciation is going to be absolutely awful. Unless you guys give me phonetic spellings of things. Like Lidl with a long I. I see, Lidl. Maybe I might have butchered that too. Interesting. I'm always up for learning things about other cultures. Traveling is one of those things that I've always wanted to do, but I grew up really, really poor, so I've never really had that opportunity. Now that I am on my own, it's kind of it can be a little bit of a challenge. We've started traveling a little bit prior to COVID, but then COVID happened and everything has been so outrageously expensive in the US. It's really hard to like save up for trips now. I really want to go though. I'd love to tour Europe. It's a cheap store, like Aldi, only cheaper. Interesting. So we kind of have a couple different, like really, really cheap grocery stores around here. There's one called Save a Lot. And then there's also one called Ruler Food, and it's like they're dirt cheap if you're, you know, if you are looking for cheap food. I still think Aldi is a little bit cheaper though. Food is really expensive in my area. Right now, eggs are $6 a dozen. So the slogan is legally. Oh, wow. Yep. All right. I'm going to do another heat real fast. And we are going to start bending this guy. There we go. That's better. There we go. starting to get like pretty nice. So we're gonna draw out this section right here, and then we're gonna bring that down to the same width, or I mean the same length as the little side, and then we'll have ourselves a paperclip, a ginormous paperclip. See if I can stick this guy in here. Major issues getting this in here. It's too tall is the problem. And I'm trying to like turn it in there. There we go. It's kind of gonna get wedged in there a bit, I think. I grew up poor and I was able to travel by the time I was in my early 30s. I saved up for my holiday vacation, if you would call it, to Japan, where I spent 3 months. It took over 7 years to save for that trip, and it was well over 20 years ago. Yeah, we have been saving, but every time we have just enough money to like start thinking about where we want to go, like something breaks down. Like one time we were getting ready to like plan a trip, and then the car broke down, and it cost the entire, savings that we had for vacation to get the car up and running again. So sometimes it's a little difficult. I have 40 chickens. I will sell you a dozen for $4. I'll bet you'll make quite a bit of product, or like I bet you'll make quite a bit of profit selling me $4 eggs for a dozen. I actually don't buy a lot of eggs. My partner is allergic to tryptophan, which is the chemical in turkeys and chickens that makes you sleepy when you eat lots and lots of it. So we kind of refrain from eating eggs because he's just really gun shy about them. So we get them when we're making like cookies and cakes and things like that. But we only ever use about 3 eggs in like a 6-month period. So I'm less affected by the egg prices. I've actually never been to America. US is certainly on my bucket list. I've had several business trips to Asia and East Europe, but no other continent. Profit, yes. Yeah, profit. So yeah, the United States can be a really cool place to visit. There are a lot of really cool places to go to. Like a lot of our national parks, they're absolutely gorgeous. So those I would definitely recommend seeing. We've got some pretty decent museums too. And I mean, there's also like, the big statue, the Statue of Liberty, and like the Arch in St. Louis and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff that's really cool to see in the United States. A friend of mine has ostriches. I might be able to send you some of those eggs. Ooh, an ostrich egg. Isn't they like this big or something? That sounds so huge. It's funny, there's another streamer I watch which has food allergies, but they traveled to Europe and realized they were actually allergic to the food they wear. They were allergic to because of the additives. Ooh, I've seen that happen before, where it's not the actual food, it's the additives. Yeah. I looked, Aldi sells eggs 10 for €2 or 3.39 euros organic. €1 is currently 1.8 US dollars, according to Google. Yeah. So the reason that eggs are so expensive in the United States right now is because we have had to kill so many birds that have bird flu. We just can't produce enough chicks and chickens to produce eggs at the rate that we need them. At least the ones that the major egg suppliers use. So like some of the more smaller farm chickens and like the smaller organic farms, their chickens are fine. And their chicken or like their eggs are like relatively normal priced, but the mass produced eggs that you would normally buy in the grocery store, they are skyrocketing. Hey, newbie here. I traveled a lot before the pandemic, and I agree with everything you just said. Also, for the eggs, I'm lucky my local area still has them for $4 a dozen, but for how much longer, I don't know. If I want to see the Statue of Liberty, I'll go to Paris. It is about 3.1 pounds. Well, that is what they tell you. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the follow, Los Velos, and welcome in, and thank you for joining our stream and for the comment. Yeah, like everything has just been so expensive recently, and with bird flu, eggs have just been gone. It's skyrocketing, so I'm really glad that the area around you hasn't suffered as much from, or the price hike yet. Hopefully it never makes it to you. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, I love streaming. It is so much fun, and you guys make it even more fun. So, welcome to the stream. Lone Mountain Knife Co. is raiding. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you so much for the raid. And it looks like Frosty has already shouted you out for the moment. Let me shout you out again, because we can never shout people up enough, you know? There we go. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to drop you 2 pictures in your Discord. Excellent. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you so much for joining in. We are currently working on making a giant paperclip. I had a comment where, a negative comment where people were, I make YouTube videos of my projects, and I made a straight bottle opener, and it's a really simple project. And so I got a comment, what do we need this video for? What's next? A deep dive on a paperclip. And I thought that was a really great challenge, so I decided that I was going to make a giant paperclip, and so that's what we're streaming today. So welcome in, everybody. I'm glad that you've joined us. And I will definitely check out your pictures in the Discord when I get done streaming today. I don't have Discord on this laptop for some reason. I think it's actually, well, like the reason I don't have Discord on this laptop is because it's not my laptop. I kind of stole it from my partner. And so I only add apps that are approved by my partner. So I haven't asked about Discord. I need to put it on there. I do have it on my phone, though. Nice. So we are going to actually do another heat. And right now I'm having a little bit of issue because our paperclip is too big to fit in the forge. So I'm kind of having to kind of shove it in there weird. And so let's see if we can't get it out. All right, I need to grab here, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to let you watch me struggle here for a second. So as you can kind of see, when I'm trying to pull this out, my bricks are starting to shake around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of open them up a little bit with the tongs. So we've got our paperclip here. I'll put those there. And we're trying to draw out the straight section now. Here, let me do this. Ooh, this piece is warm. So warm today. It's the only thing that's warm today. Paperclip a little bit. That's probably, I'm not going to count that as strike one. I accidentally smacked my knuckle on the paperclip. So normally I would suggest that's strike one, but it didn't really do any damage. So we've got our paperclip, and what we're doing is we're kind of making this section here skinnier so that we can wrap it around and have that straight, the same diameter as the rest of this rod, and then we're going to cut it out and then cut it off, and then we'll have a really nice large paper clip to play with. I'm going to try and kind of make it a little easier to bring it in and out of the forge. Maybe I'm making it worse on myself, I don't know. It is also freezing here, so I didn't spend much time outside. That makes sense. Like, I have the advantage of having my forge, and it's like always on, and then I have a mini heater right here, so that keeps this little bubble area where I have my forge and my streaming setup really nice and warm, even in the winter time. But there are times when it gets so bitter cold that I just can't keep warm enough. So those are the times I have to cancel. So yes. It is actually becoming spring here. It was close to 20 today, so 88. Oh, or no, 68. Unfortunately, I have to drop off again. Alarm clock will go off in 6.5 hours from now. Yeah, you should go sleep. Gotta get sleep. Rest is good. Gotta make sure that you're awake and alert so that you can, you know, get to work and do all the things you gotta do tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a great evening and a good sleep. Darth Immortal OG followed. Thank you so much for that follow. I greatly appreciate it. I'm a relatively new streamer, so we are starting to grow this community, and I look forward to it every single time we get a new follower. So thank you so much. Thank you. Have fun on the stream and a nice day. You as well, or I guess a nice night. Sleep well. Rest is for the weak, but I'm feeling very weak, so good night. Have a good night, Bluesy. Have a good night. Sleep well, guys. And for those of you that are new to the channel, I stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And so we will be back on Friday, and we will be back on Monday. So, you know, you can always join the fun. And then we also have socials, links in the channel, so you could join the Discord if you want to get a hold of me when I am not streaming. I'm pretty active on Discord. Maybe not like in the actual channel, but I'm always checking it at least. FML, you let Bluesy in here? Bold choice. Bluesy is great. I love having Bluesy in here. She has some amazing, like, insights and really good opinions on things. So I really like talking to Bluesy. All right, let's see. We've been going for about 2 hours, and so we're probably going to go for another half an hour to an hour, depending on how things are holding up. I will probably, if we finish our paperclip, I will probably end the stream at that point, and we will raid off. But I think we'll probably be working up to the wire. So I think that we've got plenty of time to keep going. So yeah. Let us see. What am I doing today? Like I said, I am relatively new to streaming, so if you've got any advice on streaming or presence or anything like that, let me know. Anything you'd like to see on the channel. I am always looking for suggestions for the channel itself, and for project ideas. Yeah, I have lots. I know many people. That's awesome. I'm glad. I think I've raided your channel a few times. A lot of times when I raid, it's you're playing games, or I think one of the times I raided, you were cleaning your shop. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing a stream where you're in the shop and making knives. I am always entertained by knife makers. You guys have so much patience for cleaning up your work, like spending hours and hours on belt grinders and sanders and things. I could not do that. I respect you so much. Only because it's cold right now. But otherwise, I am either grinding or forging. Yeah, it has been so cold. Like I said, there have been a few days where it's been too cold for me to come out to the shop. But I mean, I do have the advantage of having heaters and the forge going all the time, so it warms it up a little bit. But not everybody has that luxury. So I hope that it gets warm enough for you very soon so you can get back out to the shop. But yeah, I love raiding knife makers and glass blowers and stuff because I feel like they're both related to blacksmithing, and so you guys are my favorite people to raid. So shop time, it has been 60 on Monday, so we got dumped on with snow yesterday, and then the whole high winds today. So shop time has been short. That makes sense, yeah. We just started snowing a little bit this morning. It spat a little bit, but none of it stuck because it's about 36 degrees Fahrenheit here. So it melted as soon as it touched the ground, which makes me so happy because then I don't have to shovel it. But we do also have really high winds right now. I keep hearing the doors to like my shop rattling as the wind comes through. And then the door that I use for ventilation, I always keep a door like cracked open or wide open when it's really nice. It's been moving back and forth as the wind blows through. It's kind of creepy. I'm in a cold state. I understand shoveling snow. Yeah, I hate shoveling snow. And it takes a lot of energy out of me. And it takes a lot of stamina. I got sick about 5 years ago in 2020. And I've kind of, it's taken me quite a while to get to the point where I can come back out into the shop again. So I just really got back out here in the middle of November. We have gone from only being able to be out in the shop for about an hour to being out here for about 3 with no issue. and that's really exciting for me. But it also means that I have to rely on my partner to shovel the driveway for me. So there was a week there where I couldn't even leave the house because there was just so much snow that had dumped down. And I have a truck that has rear-wheel drive. So, and my partner has the only four-wheel drive vehicle. So that was unpleasant. So I'm very much looking forward to getting to the point where I have enough stamina to actually do the shoveling myself. Hey, Ping, welcome in. It only recently got above freezing. We were below freezing for like a good 3 or 4 months in my state. It was getting to me. Yeah, I have been there. I used to live a lot more north than I currently do, and we used to get snow in like November, and it would stick around until like partway through March. So when I moved south, it's just been weird because like I'm getting to this point where I'm used to having snow for like 1 or 2 days. And so if it's longer than a week, I get really irritated, and I get like, I just kind of get stir crazy, you know? Happy Clippy construction. You are late, Ping. However, it's all right. Being late sometimes is fine. I mean, you were already streaming, you know? 54, and I aired out my house. Man, why is it 54 in your area and like 36 here? I'm so jealous. I think that we should all get like, 54-degree weather, not just certain little areas. I moved from Arizona to Minnesota. I do not regret getting out of the heat. Trying to run a forge 1/4 of a mile from the surface of the sun is not fun. Ugh, that is so gross. Ew. Forging in Arizona. Like, I thought forging here would be bad. I mean, we get up to 105-ish degrees, so like it's about 120. It gets to be about 125 in the shop on those sorts of days, and I just sweat through my clothes. But I know that Arizona gets even hotter than that. I mean, I feel like it gets about 115 just on its own. I know that, like, my partner went to college in Arizona, and my partner had to get special Arizona tires for their vehicle because if you don't get the special, like, heat-resistant tires, they'll melt in the Arizona heat, and that is so gross. Bluesy remembers the Arizona days, 115 on a cool summer day. Yeah, ugh, gross. All right, I'm gonna flip my clips real fast, and then I will get back to forging. I record all of my footage so that I can edit it and stick it on YouTube. So if you're ever looking for VODs from me, I have them all categorized on YouTube by month. And then I also have short form and short videos, or I guess long form and short videos as well that I put there. All right, let's see if I can get back to forging. That's what I gotta do. Smells like something is on fire. Let's see. Let me look real fast. I gotta make sure that I didn't set my pants or any of my floor on fire real fast. I'm sorry about that. Anytime I smell something weird, I always have to like check. Yes, I've been there. I feel that with you. Or with the snow. Okay, yeah. If you haven't lit yourself on fire, are you even a blacksmith? Yeah. Exactly, right? I always tell people that blacksmithing comes in with inherent like injuries, right? You're going to burn yourself. You're going to hit your thumb with the hammer sometime. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to bruise yourself. And it's kind of something that you have to accept. So when I smell weird smells, I always look around, but I'm not afraid of setting myself on fire. I have set myself on fire several times. I have also set my partner on fire several times. I gave them the rundown. If you're going to have a relationship with me, you are risking being set on fire. And I think I've set my partner on fire like twice. And it's just one of those things. I think they brag about it sometimes. Whoa, that's a bond. Yep, that is a bond. My partner sticks with me even though I've set them on fire a couple times. But yeah, they knew the risk when they started dating me. So yeah. So we're getting really close to being finished with our paperclip. I'm really excited about this. And we have yet to get my new bottle jack for the press in the mail. We're supposed to get it sometime between Friday and Monday. So I won't be able to install it until either this weekend or next weekend. So Friday's stream, we are going to start making a hook so that we can hang up our paperclip on the wall. So I really want to make a nice hook so that, something that I'm nice and proud of, so that we can put that on the wall and then hang the paperclip. And then that, if we don't get the bottle jack on Friday, if we end up getting it on Monday, I'll have to come up with a set of projects for next week, because I won't be able to install my new bottle jack until I have my partner's help. Just because I need to make sure that I don't injure myself when I am uninstalling and reinstalling the bottle jack. These are really high tension springs, and they can pinch, they can injure very easily. So I always try to, when I'm making big equipment changes, I always try to bring in my partner to, just to be there for safety's sake. So I will let you guys know on Monday, I guess, if the bottle jack has come or not. Although you guys will probably be able to see it, because this bottle jack right here is pearl silver, and our new bottle jack is going to be fire engine red. So if you guys come in on Monday and you see the fire engine red bottle jack in the press, we are going in on the tongs. And if not, then we'll have a surprise project for that week. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens on Friday afternoon. It's going to be a surprise for me and you guys. All right. Oh no, yeah. I mean, at least I'll have time. I know that if I don't get the bottle jack on Friday, I will have time over the weekend to kind of plan out next week with different projects. But you guys won't know. I'm probably, I don't know. I might post a picture on Instagram or the Discord, maybe, if I'm feeling, if I remember. I have a tendency to kind of forget on the weekends because that's my time to relax. I edit all week. If I'm not in the shop, I'm probably editing footage. for the majority of Monday through Friday. So the weekend, I take time for myself and to relax. All right. We've got plenty of heat, so we're gonna do another heat. Let's see if I can get this out without having to get my tongs. Looks like it's all right. And I'm gonna have to kind of, there we go. I can kind of work with that, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I do not like using the butt end of my anvil. Not pleasant at all. So I apologize, guys. Let's try and straighten that section out. We're starting to get hot enough that I'm going to have to use tongs to get this guy in and out of the forge. But we're getting a really nice amount of drawing out, so we're reducing the diameter of this section here, and we only really need to go to about here because I want this to be the same, or like the same length as this guy, and then to stop at the same point. So we're getting really close to being done, but we are getting a little bit of warpage, so we'll kind of have to fix that a little bit. Thanks for that clip, Ping. That's a fun one. Looking cool, yeah. You say you're doing a hate, but you're doing the metal out of the forge. Isn't that doing a cool when you put it in that you say you're doing a hate, but you're taking the metal out of the forge? Isn't that doing a cool when you put it in? Isn't that what it, yeah, okay, now I understand. So yes, when I put the metal in the forge, it's actually literally heating. When I take it out, it is cooling. But the time between when I take the material out of the forge, work with it on the anvil, and then put it back in the forge is called a heat. It's just kind of it's not literally a heat, I guess. It's just what we call it. So, yeah. I'm not entirely sure why it's called that, but I guess it's a heat cycle. And that's probably why we call it a heat. But yes, it's a heat cycle. And yeah. I typed hate for some reason. Like the step in process has the heat. The step in the process has the heat, yeah. So we are using the heat, and that's kind of why we call it that. Because when we take it out of the forge, we're using the heat to shape the metal. I guess that's not really something that I really thought about, you know. It's just kind of like one of those jargon things. I apparently, you know, that I have to use. Sometimes I forget that I'm using, you know, the company line or like jargon. I try to remember and explain my jargon when I notice that I've used it. But this time, apparently, I forgot. So Thank you for reminding me that not everyone understands everything that I say. And I'm always willing to explain jargon and corporate speech. Because, I mean, not everybody, I want this channel to be beginner friendly. And I want someone to be able to step into the channel who has nothing or like no background and knows nothing about blacksmithing and come out of here having learned something. That is one of my main goals for this channel. I thought you were using the hammer to shape. Sorry, I'm being me. Yeah. I have to use the anvil, the hammer, and the heat in the piece in order to be able to shape it in the speed and time frame that I'd like to use. Now, if I were, if I had a mind to, I could actually pick up a piece of cold steel, one that has never touched the forge at all, and I could make a paperclip out of that, because it's just like 3 major bends. And I have these guys right here. I have a couple different types of this tool. But these guys are bending bars. And so basically you take a piece of metal and you stick it in between these 2 posts, and then you can kind of use the posts to kind of bend that metal slowly, right? But when I'm using cold metal, they don't move nearly as fast, right? So that's why we add heat. Adding heat takes a lot of the effort away so that I don't have to put in as much stamina or, time into my piece. So yeah. Alrighty, we are about ready for another heat. Or to pull the metal out of the forge again is a better way to put it, or could be a better way to put it. Let me see if I can pick it up though. Alright. I'm gonna do this again. Bend that outwards. So we've got a little bit of an extra width here, so we'll probably take another heat or two to kind of reduce that, but we're getting really close to being done with this piece. Once we get the desired diameter, we are going to reshape this piece. And I'm kind of like looking at my gas tank, and I'm trying to figure out if I will be able to get that done before it freezes over. So this guy right here, it is a 20-pound propane tank that you use with a grill, and the speed at which the gas is being released from the tank makes it really, really cold, and so the bottom has a tendency to freeze up on me, and then it reduces the speed at which the gas comes out. So I'm hoping I can get another 2 heats out of this guy. Also called bending because fatigue, microfractures, and weakness. Oh, cold bending. Yeah. And you do get microfractures within the metal. So by heating it like this, you can actually realign the crystalline structure of the steel as you're working, and so it'll be a little bit it'll be stronger if you go through the normalization and hardening processes And you just don't get that when you are cold bending. So that's one of the benefits of blacksmithing. I am out of water, but we have been streaming for about 2.5 hours. So that is actually, you know, about the time that I should be running out of water. So like I said, I'm going to try and finish up in about 2 different heats. The first one, we're going to be forging a little bit further to reduce that diameter, and we will also use that heat to kind of round out the material, because right now it is a square profile. If you were to cut that off, it'd be a square, and we want to round that out. So that's going to be our first heat, and our second heat is going to be finishing out the rounding if we need it, and then reshaping it so that we will have our paperclip shaped correctly. And then between today's stream and Friday's stream, I will cut off the excess material and I will like forge out the tiny little extra bit so that it's a function, or not a, well, it is a functional paperclip, but it's a aesthetic paperclip. I hate in the metal, you loosen the molecular structure of the metal by introducing energy into the atoms, which gives them more mobility, and you are less likely to get stress fractures because the molecular structure is more mobile. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? You keep misspelling heat. No, I mean, it's fine. I get you. You know, I have the same issue. When I'm typing, I have a tendency to type entire words at the same time, and sometimes my fingers get ahead of themselves. So I will flip letters all the time too. So don't worry about it. I got your meeting. But yeah, I do absolutely love metallurgy as a study. I never actually took any metallurgical courses, but throughout my time blacksmithing, I've kind of seen some of the stuff that, or like some metallurgic processes and how they work. So I have a tendency to kind of look things up when just to figure out what's actually going on. So I really enjoy that. So if you've got, any good resources, you should totally drop them in the Discord, and I will totally look them up. Check them out and all that. Alrighty. I barely made it through school. I have a bachelor's in studio art. But we didn't have to do any metallurgical courses because I didn't actually have to technically specialize in anything. And even if I had specialized in sculpture, which is what I would have ended up specializing in, they just don't have the engineering sort of courses required for that. So I really feel like I missed out. I really do. All right, we've got plenty of heat now, so we're gonna do our first of those 2 heats. Oh no! There we go. bit harder to move it. Wow, I'm glad my floor isn't disgusting. All right, so I think we're gonna do the rounding out in the next heat because I lost too much heat dropping the piece. Let me straighten this out a little bit, or see if I can straighten it out. I cannot wait until I get that bottle jack so I can actually make my new set of tongs. Alright, that's what I got for that. There we go. So I dropped my piece a couple times there, and there's a bunch of dust all around my forge or my anvil. So when I dropped it, it set some of that dust on fire, which is kind of nasty when it burns. It doesn't stay burning though, so that's always good. So we've got about one more heat left. So if you guys have any suggestions for who you want to raid to continue the party, let me know. Otherwise, I will find someone myself. And then we'll have to, you know, see if we can't find a friend, or if we can, or, you know, if we're going to learn something new about a new art form. So let me know if you have any suggestions. Yes. We've been having so much fun today. I'm so glad that you guys all joined me. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys again on Friday. And we will see if our bottle jack comes or not. I have a new long form video up on YouTube today. It is the video for the silverware that we made. And so towards the end of the video, I'll show you those again. So I guess the ad is starting soon, but we'll see about looking at the silverware real fast. So we've got a fork, knife, and a spoon, and I've got them all nice and cleaned up. So I'm pretty happy with them. I think they turned out pretty nice. There's a few things that I wish I had done differently, but overall I'm pretty happy. So we've got an ad coming shortly, and then we'll do that last heat. I apologize for not ending the stream before that ad started. I really hate doing like an ad and then like nothing else, or almost nothing else after it. So I'm sorry about that, guys. But we are almost done with this guy, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks really nice, the paperclip that we've made. It's very big, and I'm looking forward to hanging it on the wall. I rarely see ads. Well, that's good. I've got like I know a lot of people have Twitch Turbo, and you don't have to watch ads when you do Twitch Turbo. I do run 1.5 minutes of ads every 30 minutes on my stream, and I do feel like some people don't get the full 1:30. And part of that I think is due to like the little insets that come in. So I think that's probably what it is. But I always try not to do forging when the ad timer is going, because I want to make sure that everybody gets to see every time I'm forging. because that's why people come. I mean, I know that I have a shining personality and you all love me, but I kind of feel like the meat and potatoes of this stream is the actual forging itself. So I try to make sure that everybody of every level of financial, prosperity can watch the heats. I think ads are regional. As I'm out of your region, I don't see them. That might be the case too. It really could be. All right, so we are going to do our last heat. One more heat. And then we will raid off to another creator. So if you've got any ideas, let me know. Struggle bus with these stupid dogs every day. There we go. Now I can pick it up. There we go. This time for real, one more heat, because I know that I can shape it properly in one more heat. So I apologize for struggle bussing there. A little bit of scuff going on. I'm waiting for cooking stream to come up, but he won't be out for another hour. I'm a regular in that stream, so I'll get in there and troll him. I'm a friendly troll. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you have lots of different streams that you come and join their community. I have seen a cooking stream or two here and there. All of the food always looks so good, though, and it makes me hungry. So sometimes I'm okay watching it, and other times I tend to avoid them a little bit. I like food, sometimes a little too much. I know I'm really, really small, so that doesn't sound like so bad, but, you know. Everybody needs to eat in moderation, you know. All right, we should have plenty of heat. We can do that last heat. There are some awesome cooking streamers. I'll bet. I will bet. Because there's so many amazing streamers in all kinds of different topics. Let's see if I can get this to work. Okay. So I need to open this up a little. And then I need to come over here. starting to bounce a little bit, but we've got plenty to continue or to finish what we're doing. So that is pretty good, actually. So there is our paperclip. I need to take off this little tail here and then clean it up. But I'm pretty happy with it, actually. I think it turned out pretty nice. It looks a lot like an actual paperclip. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for joining me today. It has been a blast. I have enjoyed our conversations greatly. So thank you all for your comments and joining me. So I am gonna raid off. I'm glad this was the first bad comment. Yep. Good game. Fun project. Glad you took the challenge. Yes. I'm glad I took it too. I think that's a fun project. All right. We are going to go to our outro real fast. I have updated it for our new subscribers that have joined us. So watch those. And here we go. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, let's see. Who's around to raid? Any of our friendos? Looks like Ping is streaming and Yankee is streaming. Ping, should I raid you? I should totally raid Ping. Let's raid Ping. Ping runs an amazing stream. All right. Get ready for this raid, Ping.